Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Lies, exploitation, and the American dream turned nightmare. This is Big Sugar, a deep dive into the inner workings of the sugar industry. I'm Celeste Headley, and in a new podcast, I'm investigating a true crime story like no other about the men who risked their lives to cut sugarcane. In Big Sugar from iHeartMedia, Imagine Audio, and the teams at Weekday Fun and Novel, I'll unravel a decades-long fight to get justice.
If they were right, then these workers were owed tens of millions of dollars in extra wages.
Listen to Big Sugar wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.
Mr. Zhang, what have you been eating?
Eavesdroppin.
Michelle. Hello.
Michelle. Michelle. Geordie.
What?
I'm being toast of London. Geordie.
Oh, I see.
Geordie.
It's that time of the week again, everybody. It's Michelle over there, Geordie over here, and it's eavesdropping time. Party time.
Go get that cocktail. Go get that drink.
Well, this do. It's a tinny. I'm sucking on a tinny
You got
today.
brown
It's
lemonade.
a grapefruit schofferhofer. It's not a brown lemonade. It's a pink
Oh,
lemonade.
that sounds delish.
It's orange. It's orange. Have you had one of these?
No.
It's a grapefruit schofferhofer.
What is it? A beer?
Hefeweizen beer.
It's a beer.
Hefeweizen.
Okay.
But it's grapefruit flavour.
You love anything a bit grapefruit.
I do.
You've got a grapefruit fetish, one might say.
I kind of do. And I have to say, Michelle, this week has been all the drinks because it's been very hot in the United Kingdom,
Yes,
as you've heard.
heat wave.
The drink du jour, I've got to say, when it's not the grapefruit beer, is a lager top with ginger beer instead of lemonade. Yum.
Oh.
That's really good. Next time you go to a pub, anyone, anywhere, ask if they've got ginger beer first.
Okay.
Not the ale. It's not the same. It's not the fucking same, guys.
No.
Ginger beer.
Beer.
It's very different.
Yes.
The Jamaican one is always the best.
Of course, it's got that little bit of spice.
So there's your drinks corner. Hello and welcome. This is a weekly comedy storytelling podcast and you're here for the ride. If you're here for the first time, apologies for the banter so soon.
It does sound like we're drunk, but I'm actually not.
Not yet.
Not yet. But you might be.
It's actually about 3%, Michelle, so don't get your knickers in a twist. It's 2.5%.
That's not going to get you anything.
No, it's not going to touch the sides.
You won't get even slightly buzzed off that. What you been doing this week?
Well, the guinea pig's getting a wash, and that's not a euphemism.
Oh my God.
Right now, hubby's downstairs giving him a good scrub. First time in 5 years.
That filthy little beast.
I hope he's going to be okay because I have heard from another friend who decided that his sister's guinea pigs were a bit stinky and needed a wash. It was in the middle of winter. Gave them both a wash in the sink. They died shortly after.
Well, that's one way to get rid of them. Just saying.
He's putting it in a pot, which I think is a little triggering for the poor mite.
What?
He's washing him in a pot.
It's like he's about to cook that fucking guinea pig.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Keep an eye on the social media, guys. I might have a picture of it later, if you're lucky.
I hope Ray survives.
I have mixed feelings about that. Obviously, I don't want anyone to die on my watch. I don't want anyone to suffer in my home. But equally, he's a lot of trouble. You can't go on holiday.
Give it to someone else and just go over and get the cuddles every now and again.
Okay. Well, I'll think that through, Michelle. I'll think it through. He is pretty much free range down there. But that's enough about guinea pigs. I have been watching television, Michelle. And not just for the podcast, which you'll find out about a bit more later.
So have I.
What have you been watching?
I've been watching the Rex from our very own Eavesdroppers.
Oh, it's a good place to go, isn't it, for a good recommendation?
I watched my mom, Jane.
Oh, I want to watch that. Thank you to Safka for recommending that.
Yes. Now, Mariska Hargitay, I didn't even know she was an actress. Apparently, she's been in Law and Order forever.
Right.
And she's also won a Golden Globe. Her
Good
mother
on
was
her.
Jane Mansfield.
Nice.
Jane Mansfield, I did not realise how beautiful she was. My God. More beautiful than Marilyn, in my opinion.
Yeah.
She was called the smartest dumb blonde in Hollywood. She was amazing.
I'm going to watch this. Don't give me any more spoilers, Michelle.
No, there's big reveals.
Yes.
There's no spoilers from me.
We've spoken about her before. She was mentioned in our Church of the Satanic Panic episode many seasons ago. Anton LaVey's Church of Satan. Satanic. I can't remember what it was called now. Satan Church.
So Satan's
Where you go to worship Satan.
the devil.
Yeah, that's
the
it. Yeah.
Devil's church.
Yeah, that's it.
So how was she mentioned? How was she connected? I can't remember.
They were involved in it. There was black candles. They were members. Her and her husband. Yeah.
Which husband? She has a few. I'll just
Can't
say it.
remember.
Oh my
Go back
God.
and listen.
Go back and listen.
Go do a Google.
We are of that age where it goes in,
We
it
forget
doesn't
everything.
stick, it goes straight
Yeah.
out. I don't remember anything.
So you've been watching that. I've been watching something which was recommended to me from my friend Pat.
Oh, okay.
She said it's Australian. She said there's some really good Australian mysteries going on these days. And I was like, okay, let's see if I know it. She said Scrublands. I said I didn't know it. So I started watching. She said it's starring this guy called Luke Arnold, who looks quite exotic. And it's the guy who played Michael Hutchence in the televisual series or show, mini-series. You know, Australians like to put out these mini-series based on true events and things. And it's dramatization of the In Excess story. And he's the guy who plays Michael. He's very handsome.
Oh.
Actually, he's quite distractingly handsome. He's got that great look that I love. Black curly hair and a moustache.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
I love that look.
You do tend to go for that. Complete opposite to your husband. But it is a good look. That is one to watch because...
There's 2 series.
Oh, fantastic. I love when there's more than one series. I will put that on the Patreon. And guys...
Do it.
Patreon. If you don't know about it and you're not on it, get on it. Get on that thing.
What's wrong with you?
Get on it for a nice old ride.
On it like a car bonnet.
I started watching another rec. This one, I believe, was from Yannicka.
Oh, Sirens? I want to start that next.
Well, I'm not loving it.
Oh.
It's a bit silly. You know, it's one of those American reels you in, but it's all a bit too dun dun dun. I don't know. It's a bit of nonsense. It's a fun bit of nonsense.
Sometimes you need that because I'm also still watching Below Deck.
Below Deck. Oh, God.
Below Deck. I know I can't get enough of those boat shows. They're so vapid and pointless, but I love it.
Great.
That's enough of telly. What about scrolling? I've been scrolling away. Scrolling. Oh my God, so much scrolling, Michelle.
What have you been scrolling through? Insta?
Instagram.
Faces?
No, don't really see that one very often, but the old Instagram account, you know, things just pop into your box, don't they? They just pop across your screen and you go, oh, what's that? And then you regret it because then you found out things like, I don't follow it, but this one called Daily WTF Facts.
Okay.
Here's a fact for you, Michelle. More humans have walked on the moon than reached the deepest parts of our planet. We know more about Mars than we do about Earth's ocean floor. And it goes on to talk about what's in there. All sorts of weirdness.
We don't know what's down there. We are way more interested in
What's up there?
what's up there than what's down there.
Yeah.
I mean, we've just talked about something in your box and what's down there. It's not... What is going on?
You're joining the dots there, Michelle.
Well, I came across a woman. You know how Instagram feeds you things? It
Yes.
serves you up content.
Oh, I tagged you today as well in the one with, they're in Scotland in a pub. There's a covers band doing Whole of the Moon and there's a man throwing shapes and the woman's just doing that backing vocal, really dodgy with a bag of crisps and she's popping a crisp in every time she pauses for breath. It's hilarious. If you can find the link, put it on, please. Everybody needs to see this.
Well, maybe I'm late to the party, but I started following Riona O'Connor. She is a very funny Irish woman. She does these rants.
Well, you love a rant.
I do love a rant. She was in a bikini talking about why she's not going to be ashamed of her body, and it was fucking funny.
Great.
Check her out. I have to say, I've become obsessed on Instagram with those furniture restoring accounts where they get a piece of junk and you see them take
Right.
it from, you know, a piece of rubbish to absolutely gorgeous. And I thought, oh my God, I could do that. That's going to be my next business. I always think that when I see things on Instagram.
Yes. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? Just to rest your eyes upon it because it just keeps you entertained. But what's it doing to our brains, I wonder?
Well, I don't know, because I also like all of those home hacks.
I love those. Oh my God, the cleaning ones.
The folding ones.
The folding ones, all of them. The ones with the straws and the gardening ones. I hate gardening, but I love watching those. What you can do with an eggshell.
Exactly. Or
a straw with a nail in.
don't throw that pip away. You can do this.
Corn cobs.
How you can make 10 cuttings out of... Oh my God, it's so fabulous. I saved them all.
Never to look at again.
Exactly.
There's another account that'll tell you that's because you've got ADHD. That's what they'll be telling you next.
Everyone thinks everyone's got ADHD. It's like, oh, please. It's too much.
Apologies to those of you with a diagnosis.
I do think it's fun to watch all of those lovely folding things.
It is, isn't
I don't know
it?
how they do it. I've tried to copy. I mean, they go so quick.
Yeah, they need to do a slow-mo.
They do need to do slow-mos or step by step, especially when they're folding the jeans and you have to do them on a jaunty angle and then put one leg of the jean inside and then do a fold and a
To be
flip.
fair, when it comes to jeans folding and T-shirts folding, I, as you know, used to be visual merchandiser for a jeans company. So I've kind of got
Yes.
that down pat.
Yes, well done. Maybe you can show
I can.
me.
I try and teach my kids it doesn't work. It's really easy.
I'm sure.
She made it awkward. She
Made it awkward.
She
How
made
did I make it awkward?
Awkward, awkward.
How dare
She made it
you?
awkward. She made it awkward.
Outrageous.
How bloody awkward. Awkward. How bloody awkward. Well, this is awkward. How bloody awkward. Awkward.
Bloody hell.
Fuck you.
Also this week, some things have gone missing in my house again. You know, I said there was a candle that I left on.
Yes.
A pink candle. I had it on. I forgot about it. I went up sometime later. It hadn't burnt down. And it wasn't there anymore. It wasn't around. It wasn't underneath. It wasn't beside. That was months ago. Almost a year ago now that happened.
A year?
Almost. Now, I've got this Gatineau under eye cream cover-up that I saw on Instagram that I've been using for about 6 months. It's just on my makeup table every day in my bedroom. It's gone. Cannot find it. My daughter didn't take it.
I was going to say, you do have a teenage daughter.
She didn't take it. No, it wasn't her.
Okay,
She doesn't
all
need
right.
it. And Tim, the Magic Music Man, gave me a postcard some time ago when I got married of 2 elderly people. It's a photographer who does like British scenes. And I've just recently seen that they're doing an exhibition again, this photographer. And there's my picture that he gave me as a postcard. And it's always on top of my mirror,
Yeah.
front and center in my bedroom. It's gone. And I saw it like 3 days ago. Yesterday it was gone. I cannot find it anywhere.
Oh my God.
Sometimes I think, because I am in the roof.
I blame the guinea
I'm in the
pig.
roof and I wonder if somebody comes out of my crawl space
Oh my God.
to take it. But I go in that crawl space quite frequently. There is nowhere they can hide. Do they come in and out of the house? Well, why aren't they taking my laptop? All the cash lying around.
The old people picture, the old people postcard.
Why are they taking things like that? And then I saw this Instagram video, like I said, scrolling,
Yeah.
where there was a woman talking about her friend who had what she thought was a bad racoon problem. But when she went up into the loft, she had a shaky, dodgy fold-down ladder, so she couldn't go all the way up.
Okay.
And the noise was out of control, so she just got her phone, lifted her arm up and snapped. When she brought the phone back down to see what was up there, she saw, basically, it was Nosferatu
What?
in her attic.
What the hell?
And she kept calling it an addict as well. She kept calling her attic an addict, which was really off-putting.
Okay.
But it was basically a man that looked like he was posing for a Nosferatu.
Oh my
Film shot.
God.
So I don't know if this was real. It looked kind of staged. But the thing is, Michelle, we've covered it before. Bad Ronald. That's a movie about a man that lived in a house when he wasn't supposed to be there.
The trauma of my childhood. Yes, Bad Ronald.
Oh.
It's a thing. And it's called frogging. And we've talked about it several times before on the pod.
Why is it called that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't research that far. But for this episode, I watched on Crime and Investigation, which is an actual channel devoted to true crime, a show called Frogging, Hide Her in My House.
Oh God. It's everyone's worst fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Lay it on me.
Well, it starts, episode 1 is about a lovely couple who we met called James and Britney Campbell. It was talking about events of September 2019. Very attractive couple, very photogenic. They'd just gotten married and Britney had become stepmom to James's 2 boys and the family had recently moved to Honolulu. Lovely. Wham bam, lots of changes though. They had a nice house in a nice neighborhood. House was big and lovely and Britney made herself at home. Every morning she had a little routine because she's quite glam. As I said, she's always doing her makeup and watching YouTube videos and tutorials, perfecting her contouring or whatever you think she's doing up there. And one morning, whilst attempting some makeup look, she heard the door downstairs slam, which totally freaked her out because there's no one in the house. She went down, there was no one there. But later that night, she heard the door open and close whilst the couple were in bed. So she asked James, "Did you leave the door open?" And he said, "No." She said, "I can hear the door opening, shutting." He said, "No, you can't. I've just locked the house up. Chill, bitch." You know, that kind of thing. She went to look anyway, found the doors were unlocked, and the couple had a bit of an argument about it. Why was he lying to her, you know? Are the kids sneaking out? Britney was starting to feel a little bit gaslit because there are a few more of these door incidences, and James remained skeptical the whole time while Britney was going nuts. And it became an issue between them.
Yeah, because he's not believing her.
He's not believing her, exactly. 2 weeks later, I think James must be a musician. So he's at his piano with the curtains drawn and he spots the silhouette of a person walking past quite close to the house, like on the other side of the glass. So he goes to look because he thinks that's a bit close for comfort, but there's no one there or they walked away. Then another time he's at home with his boys when he looks at the desk calendar to find the following words written down on the desk calendar. It said, "Your rehabilitation starts today. Do as I did. Choose a house, clean it, set up all devices."
What?
Well, James was dumbfounded. Was it Britney asking him to clean the house? So what did he do? He cleaned the house. He thought Britney was giving him some kind of weird message.
Okay.
Thought that he couldn't recognize his wife's writing. Fuck's sake, James. And then 3 weeks later, the family decided to go to the movies. But Britney decided she wanted to be cozy. So she was going to bring her usual TV snuggling blanket, which I'm sure most families have in the TV room. So she went to grab it from the TV room, but it wasn't there. She looked everywhere. She asked everyone. She felt that they were all being too lazy to go upstairs and look because they're going, "No, we haven't seen it. No, we haven't seen it." But she just thought, "Oh, come on." So she was getting annoyed and went out. They had a bit of an argument and they went to the movies with her in a bit of a grump. When they got home from the movies, Michelle, that blanket was right there back in the usual spot, folded nicely.
Oh.
So things are starting to fall into place a bit for the others now.
I do think there could be a moment where you think, is this a case of something that was right in front of my eyes and I was looking so hard for it, I didn't see it? We've all had this happen.
That's the thing about my eye cream. Where the hell is it? One night, though, Britney was in bed and she looked over at her laptop and noticed that the little green light of her webcam was on.
Oh my God, that's fucked up. No, that is creepy.
Then another incident on Friday the 13th, 2019. The family returned home from a trip to the mainland where they were visiting family and friends. They'd caught an earlier flight, and as they pulled up into the driveway very early that morning, they both noticed James's fancy mountain bike was just left across the driveway.
What?
Which wasn't how they left it. But of course, there's a family of 4, so they're wondering, did someone pull that out before we left and forget to put it away? But something felt off to the couple. They were feeling a bit cagey. They told the kids to wait in the car while they checked the garage and saw, to their horror, that it had been completely trashed. Obviously, they jumped to the conclusion that they've been robbed. So James grabs a sledgehammer and goes to the front door, slowly putting his key in the door, opening it. But then he feels, as he pushes the door open, he feels resistance.
No.
He's pushing hard. Someone's pushing back. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Then through the crack, they see a man peeking back at them. And he says calmly, "This is not your house. You've got the wrong house." At this point, Britney is screaming and calls the cops to report an intruder. James eventually gets in. He's strong. And he pulls this man out into their front yard. And then they notice that this guy's wearing James's clothes.
Oh, my God.
It's wild.
This is single white male.
Absolutely. So they're having it out on the drive. James has got the sledgehammer, keeping him to account. The man is very calm. He says he didn't have anywhere to go. So James assumes this guy is homeless, maybe on drugs. He keeps him on the drive under the threat of the sledgehammer while the kids are trying to go in to use the toilet, but the family is saying, "Don't go in there."
Yeah.
Britney at this point remembers their cat. She's freaking out. She said, "Oh my God, my cat." And the guy says, "The cat's fine. I fed him." So Britney goes in to check. Inside the house, Britney got the shock of her life to find that all of James's music equipment was set out around the living room, almost like it was a garage sale. Pots and pans everywhere in the kitchen. Then she finds the cat in the cage in the kitchen with no water and some dried apricots.
What the fuck?
Like it was going to eat apricots?
Cat don't lack an apricot.
They don't like that. The police finally arrived. But this guy was really casual and calm. He doesn't resist as the police cuff him and put him in the car. And then the Campbells go into the house. They realize the whole thing's trashed, except the boys' bedroom. The beds were made. The kids' laundry had been done by the intruder, totally at odds with the rest of the house, which had been trashed. Yeah.
What?
It is just so odd. Then they go into Britney and James's bedroom, where they got a bit more of a shock, because not only was it trashed, but there was a towel set out with knives laid across Dexter style. Their old computer was next to the knives, and Britney looked at it, opened it up, saw lots of typed notes like diary entries, and one entry was called The Omnivore Trials, a rehabilitation for rat-like people.
What the fuck?
There was also a journal with observations about the family, intimate details that no one would know unless they'd been listening to the couple's conversations. Like they knew that they were planning to have a baby. The guy had been watching them and it became really painfully obvious at this point. She's feeling vindicated by now, by the way.
She's like, I knew there was someone fucking here.
But that vindication quickly turned to terror when they realized that the journals also contained information about surgical procedures that this guy planned to perform on the Campbells, including something called sexual reconstruction and a hand transplant.
Oh my.
All backed up with internet searches, the lot.
Oh my God.
As they read all these twisted notes, they found serums with the label omnivores on it, and they soon realized that this is what the guy called them, like they were another species.
Shit.
This guy wanted to play doctor on them.
Yeah.
And turn them into perfect people.
This is terrifying, Geordie.
It really is.
Serums.
I know.
Made from what? Oh my God.
Britney goes into her makeup area.
No.
And on her computer, she found a little video file made by the intruder. Day 2 of the trials, he said, as he's talking to the camera and basically mocking Britney, copying her favorite makeup tutorials. She felt like he was talking directly to her, and there was a really sinister twist. He's drawing on his face. He's putting lines on his face with her makeup pencils, but at the same time, even more shocking for her, he was sitting in her chair butt naked.
No! Oh my God, she has to throw that away. That's disgusting.
A bit like coming back from holiday and finding photos of robbers with your toothbrush up their ass 2 weeks later.
I always thought that was an urban myth, but you hear stuff like this and you think,
well, this is crazy though.
This is fucked up.
Then they realized, like, how long has this guy been watching us? Everything up to that point now started to make sense. And they found out that the intruder's name was Ezekiel Zayas, who was 23 years old. And the police did charge Ezekiel with burglary, but then they released him.
No.
But he didn't stay out of jail for long because then he was arrested again, this time for vandalizing a Buddhist temple. So back to jail for him. And then he undergoes a psych evaluation. And while in custody, allegedly, he murdered his cellmate.
Oh my God.
So he's not very well.
No, I really thought you were going to say this guy was 63, not 23. This is a young person with serious mental health struggles.
Yeah. So the family got such a shock. They had to move, and every aspect of their lives have been affected ever since. But they are grateful that they returned home when they did, because if they had come later or at night, it could have gone very differently.
Really?
Ezekiel Zayas pled not guilty, but was later found unfit to stand trial and is currently being held in a psychiatric facility. So this is what frogging can be like. This is how it might present. And it does sound like an urban legend, Michelle, but it is real. And it's more common than you think. Like there's this case from November 24 in Los Angeles where a 93-year-old woman thought she was hearing animals under her house for months.
Okay.
I think her grandson and his wife were living with her, and the granddaughter-in-law was walking across the floor, and then beneath the floorboards there was like knocking in response to her walking across the floor. So then they thought, maybe that's not raccoons.
No.
So they called the police, and when the LAPD turned up, they found 27-year-old Isaac Betancourt under the house, totally nude.
Oh my God, but was he trapped or was he there by choice?
Well, he refused to come out. They got dogs to go in and try and chase him out, and even 2 rounds of tear gas could not coax the man out until 4:30 in the morning when he finally emerged from the 2-foot-high crawl space where police found food, blankets and signs he'd been living there for months.
Oh God. If it's not mental health problems, is it just desperation? Is it homelessness? What is going on here?
I don't know. But what would be worse than having somebody living in your house?
Is that an actual question?
I'm asking you the question.
Oh.
Can you imagine? Maybe if you're on holiday and you're in the hotel room and somebody died in your hotel room?
What do you mean?
I'm segueing away now from frogging.
Okay.
It's taken a little turn. because I got waylaid.
Oh, right.
And these stories appeared and I had to investigate. Tibet, there's a tourist, Mr. Zhang. He checked into a hotel and noticed a foul stench in his room. And at first he thought it was just the bakery downstairs. Oh my God, what's wrong?
Croissants smell good.
Or even he thought it was the pong of his own feet.
Oh my
Mr. Zhang,
God,
what have you been eating?
I have smelt some pongy feet in my time, but you fucking know if it's yours or where it's coming from, surely.
I do have a mystery smell in my pantry at the moment, which I cannot find the
Oh,
source.
that's making me sick.
Yeah, it's a problem. But when the smell didn't go away for Mr. Zhang, he asked to switch rooms. And a couple of days later, police called him back to the original room and dropped a bombshell. A dead body has been decomposing under the bed that Mr. Zhang has been sleeping in the entire time he was there.
No. Oh, no. How did the cleaners not see or smell?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
This victim had been murdered days before Zhang's arrival, so he wasn't a suspect, but understandably he hasn't slept properly since, poor man. And I don't know if this means anything, but the hotel was a hotspot for influencers, so maybe think twice before chasing those aesthetic views. People will do anything for likes. But there's more.
Lay it on me.
Let me tell you, it's closer to home, and this story was sent in by Charlene, who's very good at researching, one of our listeners. If you don't know her, happy chappy. In August 2012, two 20-year-old hotel receptionists, Tibor Vass and Alice Adams, were found murdered in a staff apartment at the 5-star Radisson Edwardian near Heathrow, where they all worked. So what happened was, after drinks one night, their fellow receptionist, a man called Attila Ban, turned on them, stabbing Tibor twice and Alice 22 times with chef's knives that he got from the kitchen. And when none of them showed up to their shifts the next day, police went to Attila's apartment and found them there, found the horrific scene. Tibor was on the bed, naked. Alice was on the floor. And here's the shocking part. Attila Ban, who was then 32 years old, he hid under the bed, the same one where Tibor's body was on top of. And he stayed there for 2 days whilst police, forensic teams, and even the pathologist were working away.
And they never looked?
He made a slit in the bed. He brought water and his phone into the bed base where he was updating his Facebook account merrily with the post, "I want to wake up from this nightmare." Because he'd cut this slit. He was spying on the investigators as they were in there working.
Oh my God.
And after they removed the bodies, Attila Ban emerged from his hidey hole and attempted suicide but survived. How insane is that?
That is wild because they obviously thought he was a suspect and they didn't know where he was. So
No, he was right there the whole time. It's a bit embarrassing for the
yes,
Met.
but also he's in the mattress stuffing?
I know. He's in the divan base, I think. There's photos. I've sent you the links.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Police described it as astonishing and horrific, and Attila Ban was later convicted of both murders, with the court hearing he had become sexually obsessed with Tibor and jealous of his friendship with Alice.
Oof.
It was just a horrible case of obsession and betrayal and hiding in plain sight.
Oh my God. That is horrific.
I know. So the upshot of this, Michelle, is, are you ever really alone?
Honey joys and saveloys, hands off the fairy bread, you naughty boys.
When you think of skyrocketing brands like Aloe, Allbirds, or Skims, it's easy to credit their success to great products, sleek branding, and brilliant marketing. But here's the overlooked secret. The real magic lies in the engine behind the scenes, the business powering their business. For millions of brands, that engine is Shopify, making selling seamless for them and shopping effortless for us. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout Aloe Yoga uses. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/retail, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/retail to upgrade your selling today. Shopify.com/retail.
Well, I'm going to give you some cases that will make you think, I don't fucking know. Because I also have gone down the same route, obviously. And I've called this first story, He's in the Walls.
Oh, no. Bad Ronald.
Bad Ronald vibes. And do you know what? I actually wanted to see if Bad Ronald was based on a true story. It's not.
Oh.
Sadly. And then I thought, is Flowers in the Attic based on a true story? It's not. Thank God.
But I mean, there are worse stories out there that are true. I mean,
yes. Those ones you've just discussed are horrific. I've got two for you. This first one, I always think it's kind of like when people joke about their creepy stalker exes.
Do you know, I had one or two of those in my time. I think I've talked about it before.
Yes. Stalkers.
It's a bit troubling, isn't it? And one hid in my house.
Oh, fuck me. I've
just
not
remembered.
know that.
Yes. You know, sometimes we talk about the lovely photojournalist Alex Smart. We were living together and I was introduced to this gentleman who ended up becoming a little bit obsessed through him because he helped him move into the house and I was friendly to him.
Okay.
And then one day he knocked on the door as all of us were going, except for Alec who was asleep. All of us were going out to play football and we said, can't talk, got to go, bye. We left, we locked the house, we left. But apparently this gentleman found his way into the house and he was going around every bedroom until he walked in on Alec. And he was like, what are you doing here?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that was the icing on the cake.
He was looking for your knickers, wasn't he? God, that's horrible. Thank God you weren't there. Well, those were the days when stalkers were IRL.
What does that mean? Oh, in real life.
In real life, you know, I had one who was showing up to gigs and outside my house.
Ooh.
But these days it's all, you know, they're checking your Insta stories and texting you even though you've blocked them and whatever. You know, it's a different kind of kettle of creepiness. But one layer worse is when they're hiding in your attic or squeezing themselves into your wall cavities.
Or an addict even.
Or in your addict, yes. So these two stories, I feel like, especially for you, Geordie, next time you hear a noise coming from your crawl space, you might think twice. I'm going to start with a story from February 2022 and a 20-year-old guy called Mauricio Guerrero from Pennsylvania. This whole thing started because of OnlyFans.
Oh, right. The sexy internet platform.
Yes. The woman at the centre of this story is a woman called Rachel Nunez, who at the time was in her early 20s. She was living in a place called Somersworth in New Hampshire in America. And she was a single mom raising her young daughter on her own. Like a lot of ladies in the post-COVID kind of hustle economy, she jumped on OnlyFans to make a bit of extra money to keep her and her kid going. By all accounts, she was really good at the whole OnlyFans thing. You know, she had subscribers and regulars, and one of those regulars was Mauricio Guerrero. And like I said, in 2022, he's 20 years old and living in a place called Bensalem, Pennsylvania, which is a totally different state to New Hampshire.
It's very exotic sounding.
Bensalem.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I guess it doesn't really sound American. I'm not up with all the place names. These two places, one is Pennsylvania, where Mauricio is, and Rachel's in New Hampshire, literally hundreds of miles away.
Okay.
Now, this guy, as far as I could tell, had no real job, but he was always online, apparently on OnlyFans. He was a big tipper. And when it came to Rachel, he was always messaging her. And eventually they did start talking a little bit more directly off the platform. And the DMs turned into texts. He's telling her he's really into her and that he feels a real connection. And Rachel is polite.
She's not into it though.
No!
It's not a dating app.
It's not a dating app. You know, she gets a gear off and they pay money. That's how it works. She's not into him, but he's a good client. So she's friendly. Then he tries to escalate things by offering to help her out with bills and gifts for her child. And I'm sure at the time, all of that seemed like he was just being kind. But I also do think that women intuitively know the difference between kind vibes and creepy vibes. And I think it was getting a little bit too intense. But Rachel was popular. What was happening with Mauricio wasn't anything she hadn't had to deal with before from dudes on the platform. So she wasn't too worried. Maybe that's why she was a little bit off point when at some stage in late 2021, she gave Mauricio her actual address.
Oh, no.
So he could send a gift for her daughter's birthday.
Oh, dear.
I mean, I guess she thought that was harmless.
Never.
She'd just given her actual fucking address to someone she'd never met. What she didn't know is that from that moment on, Maurizio became obsessed.
She'd opened the door.
She did. She didn't even realize. Weird things. From that moment on, weird things started happening. Specifically, Rachel began hearing noises in her attic. Not loud noises, but the kind, a little bit like one of your stories, you might brush off as a rat or old pipes.
Some sort of little creature.
Yeah, or just creaky house stuff.
It sounds like toddlers walking across my roof some mornings, and it's pigeons.
Yes, I've had this as well. And especially in Australia where you've got the ibis, which they're fucking massive.
Yeah.
They are the size of a small toddler. So that stuff can really freak you out. But this one was more small sounds and creaky old house kind of sounds. But they were sounds she hadn't heard before. And it did concern her enough that one day she mentioned it to her ex-boyfriend, who, bless him, came over and had a quick look, but he didn't find anything. So she just let it go and just put it down to, it's an old house, it's maybe a rat or two. What never crossed her mind is that Maurizio was regularly driving the 5+ hours from his home in Ben Salem, Pennsylvania, up to her place in New Hampshire. He was bringing a ladder, and then he was quietly breaking into her house in the dead of night and hiding in her attic. And from there, he was quietly observing her. He'd worked out her schedule. He knew when she was dropping her daughter off at school. He knew when she was out. He knew when she'd be in. He knew when she'd be doing her OnlyFans stuff. And if he wasn't in the attic, he was stalking her from his car, waiting until the coast was clear, getting that ladder, getting in through the window or in the attic crawl space, and then getting comfy. He had snacks up there, Geordie. He'd brought his headphones up there so he could listen to music if he got a bit bored.
Oh, God.
He had bedding up there. I mean, he had built a proper little nest, and all the time he was just watching Rachel getting on with her life. But then Rachel began waking up during the night, feeling like something was off. And this is a quote from her. She said, "I would hear creaks in the hallway, and sometimes I'd think I saw shadows move." But she just put it down to being a tired, overworked mom and just brushed it off as paranoia.
My God, I am so hypervigilant. There is no way I could sleep through that.
Fuck no.
I'd be out of bed in a shot.
Yes, but also...
Lights on, screaming.
She's an only mom, so she's also got to not panic her child, you know.
Sure, I've got 2 kids in the house. I'll still scream.
She sort of just let these things go until one night she woke up around 2 a.m. and she realized her phone was not on her bedside table. She thought, weird, where the fuck is it? Whatever. Went back to sleep. Found it the next day in the hallway. The screen was face down and the battery was pretty much dead. This was the first red flag. Then a few nights later, the same thing happened, except this time it wasn't her phone that had moved. It was her bed sheets.
Hey!
Well, she was in the bed and they had been pulled halfway off her.
Oh my God, that's bold.
And her door was open and she was positive that she'd closed it. So this is when she probably starts to freak out and she tells her family, she tells her ex, and finally she thought, oh God, I've got to do something. So she buys a cheap home security camera that has a motion sensor in it that pings your phone when it picks up something. I've got one of those in the summer house. Andreas gets an alert whenever there's any motion detected. And it's always his family going in to check on the house. We've also got sound so we can be like, intruder.
Hello.
Like, what are you doing in there? There was one time that was really cute, actually. It was around Christmas. And we got the alert that someone was in there. And his sister had dressed up with a Santa beard. And she was putting gifts in the house. It was very cute.
Oh, that's sweet.
Because she knew we would see. But not so cute for Rachel. Because on the morning of February 9, 2022, her phone starts to buzz. And the footage shows Mauricio inside her house at 4 a.m.
Ooh.
Standing there, shirtless, holding his wireless headphones. And she's like, what the actual fuck? And she calls the police, who show up and search the place. And he's there, still in the attic. And he's up there with a blanket, headphones. He's still got snacks. And so the police take Mauricio out of the attic and he's completely calm. And he tells them he only came down a few times just to watch her sleep. And he says that he loves her and that he would never hurt her. So
Jesus.
Meanwhile, Rachel's standing there in total shock in her own home with her daughter upstairs, knowing that Mauricio had been in and out of her place for weeks. And at the station, he tells the cops more. He says he drove up to New Hampshire at least 4 times. I think it was more than that. And he'd slept in the attic. He'd wait until the lights went off and then he would come down while she was asleep, walk around, go into her bedroom, just listen to her breathing. And then he'd pick things up like her jewelry and her clothes, her headphones.
What's wrong with him?
Well, he wasn't going to steal it. He said he didn't want to steal it. It was just to hold her items because he felt closer to her that way.
Oh.
And when they looked through his phone, it got worse because police found recordings. Audio recordings of Rachel sleeping, snoring, talking a little bit in her sleep, and then just silent kind of eerie bedroom ambience. I think this is a little bit horror show.
That is.
One of the clips was 30 minutes long. 30 minutes. That's a fucking long time, right? And apparently you can hear Mauricio breathing and whispering. I don't know what he's saying to her. He's pacing softly on the carpet. There's a little creak in the floorboards happening as he walks. And he's standing right next to her bed recording. And Geordie, just think about that. You're asleep.
No.
Maybe in your pajamas.
I won't
Maybe
be
you
sleeping
just got
tonight.
undies on. No. And there's someone standing over you, holding their breath, whispering, trying not to wake you up. And they're just recording you.
No.
It's fucking terrifying. But what's even more terrifying is that he's got a tracking app on his phone that he has linked to her phone. So that time he'd nicked her phone off the bedside table, he'd set up location tracking and then began monitoring where she was.
What's going on for him that he needs to have eyes on her all the time?
It's control, isn't it? And then he'd also done something on her phone where he could access her texts and her camera roll.
Oh, God.
They found in notes on his phone her whole schedule. So when she left, when she got home, when daughter was at school, it was all catalogued. Like proper stalkery. And then when police arrested him in her attic, Mauricio didn't deny anything. And he just said that he was in love with her and that he thought they had a connection. And he believed, according to the report, that if he could just get close enough to her, she'd realise that they were meant to be together. So this is kind of psychopathic, magical thinking, I would say. And look, he was charged and it did go to court. And in court, the detective on the case, a guy called Detective Christopher Jolin, testified that Mauricio had made multiple trips up to New Hampshire in the weeks leading up to his arrest. He'd entered Rachel's house at least 4 times.
Yeah.
When she was home and also when she wasn't, and that he wasn't there to hurt her, but just to watch her and be near her. Honestly, fuck you, because if you're trying to say that he was just in love with her and that was his defense, I think you need to try harder. And thankfully, the prosecutor wasn't buying this whole kind of shitty romance angle. And apparently, the prosecutor said, and this is a quote, "This is not a case of misguided love. This is calculated, invasive, and terrifying breach of privacy."
Absolutely.
Yes. Rachel had no idea he was even there, let alone in her attic. And so you might be thinking, why did Rachel not suspect that it was him? And the truth is, she had no clue.
Why would she?
Well, exactly. She just knew this guy as a fan
Yeah.
who maybe tipped a bit too often and lived nowhere near her. But it would never have occurred to her that he would be driving 5 hours to eat snacks in her attic and record her snoring.
But now she must be thinking that of every person she meets.
Well, she gave an affidavit where she wrote, I can't sleep anymore.
No.
I check the attic every night. I wake up at the slightest sound. My daughter asks why I'm scared, and I don't know how to explain it to her without making her afraid of her own bedroom.
Yeah.
You know, remember, this was a woman who never dated this guy. He was a subscriber to OnlyFans, and that was it. You know, he paid a monthly fee to see content, tipped her maybe a bit too much, messaged her a bit. She was polite. That was it. But Mauricio apparently had built this entire narrative in his head where he told police he thought through her OnlyFans that she was sending him signals and that she wanted him to come. And when they asked what kind of signals, he couldn't explain it. He just kept saying things like, well, she smiled in the video, or she said thank you.
He's looking for something, so he'll find it anyway, anyhow he can.
Yep. So the prosecutors were having none of this, and they charged him with 4 counts of burglary and stalking.
Yeah.
And the judge ordered that he stay behind bars until trial. And thank God, because at that point, Rachel was terrified that he'd come back. And in court, her lawyer said, there's a level of premeditation here that shows he's not just delusional, he's dangerous.
Yeah.
I agree, because Mauricio just didn't stumble into her life. He found her online and he tracked her down in the real world, albeit she gave him the address.
Yeah.
What did go in his favor was that there was no weapon, there were no knives like in your story, and it did seem that there wasn't anything darker going on. But in terms of the legal stuff, even though this was obviously criminal behaviour, the court didn't know how to charge him because there's no law against living in someone's attic without them knowing it.
That's bizarre, though. How can that not be covered in a different law or something, like breaking and entering? Or it's just bizarre. It's not a separate house.
No, well, they had to go with burglary because he'd entered the home unlawfully without really the intent to commit a crime. It is still a crime, even if that was just trespassing or stalking. His bail was set at $2,500, which I think is shockingly low, but they did revoke that when they realised that this is quite disturbing and what he was doing. They also realised he was quite meticulous in not being detected by Rachel. He'd always park a few streets away. He always wore gloves. He knew the layout of the house so well he didn't even use a light. He was wandering around silently, like he'd done it a dozen times, which I'm sure, you know, he had. But there is one detail that did give me the ick, and this came out in the police report. Apparently on the night he was arrested, Mauricio did have a pair of Rachel's undies in his backpack. They were folded up and wrapped up in a plastic bag. So, yeah, look, I mean, he never touched her. He never attacked her. Was he building up to it? I don't know. But after he was arrested, Rachel did delete her OnlyFans account. She moved house. She changed her phone number. And she just wanted to feel safe again. There are victim blamers who say that online creators who post, you know, sexy pics and interact with fans can't complain when someone gets obsessed. But I think that's bullshit.
I think that's bullshit. You're not asking for it. It's a platform for making money, and it is what it is. It's not anything more than that.
And the boundaries are clear.
Boundaries are clear.
And she had every right to feel safe in her own home without someone watching her from the attic. Weirdly, Mauricio did plead not guilty in court, even though everything was overwhelmingly against him. Of course, there was some talk of mental health evaluations because even his own defence admitted he'd formed an unhealthy attachment to her. He did get charged with stalking, and that was it.
Amazing. What a horrific story.
It's a weird story, but poor old Rachel, she had to end up with that. Say what? All right, I've got another quick story for you. This is about a guy called Daniel Laplante. Now, this guy, he's all over the internet when you look up stalkers, but he was born on May 15th, 1970 in Massachusetts. Apparently struggled a bit at school. He was kind of the quiet kid that people thought was a bit weird.
Yeah.
But by 1986, he dropped out of school. He'd been done for petty burglaries and stuff like that, but nothing more. He was just a kid who stole bits of money and showed up in court every now and again. But in 1986, something in Daniel shifted. It all started with a bit of phone call chitty-chatty with a 15-year-old girl called Tina Bowen.
Right.
Now, he's only 16 at this point, so fair enough. But Tina lived in a place called Pepperell on Lawrence Street with her dad, Frank, her younger sister, Karen, and Daniel, who I did say was 16 at the time, struck up this kind of phone pen pal situation with her. But he was pretending to be older and better looking than he was. And he was telling her all this stuff about how he's this pro sportsman and super successful.
Bigged himself up.
Yeah. So she thought, yeah, all right, I'll meet up with you. So they organised a date, but that date did not go well. And I would say it's probably because Tina felt a bit catfished because he did not look the way he said he did on the phone. And later she said he seemed greasy and strange and did not match the image he'd painted of himself in the phone calls. She thought it was a weird date and she just put it behind her. But Daniel did not. He took that rejection to heart. So what did he do, Geordie? In the weeks that followed, Daniel started breaking into the Bowen house. Not by smashing windows or doors, but instead he slipped through unlocked doors down into the basement. Then he started creating tiny passages through walls.
How? What? By digging?
No, he was just picking away.
Picking with
away.
a little pickaxe?
Yes. He was also...
But wouldn't it be noisy?
No. Somehow no.
Oh.
And he was doing this also in the attic floorboards.
Oh my
And the
God.
little spaces he made were just small enough for him to wriggle through. So every time the family went out, he'd slip in, get into those walls and the attic crawl spaces and just kind of create like little tiny tunnels, right? And then he'd stay there for hours, sometimes overnight. And even though they didn't know he was there, they did begin to notice weird things happening.
They had a feeling, did they?
Like Givenchy eye creams were going. No, I'm just joking.
What?
I just made that up.
Gatineau, not Givenchy.
Gatineau, sorry. Cartons of milk were going missing and weirdly TV channels were moving on their own. I don't know if he had the remote
How
or
does he
something.
do that?
I don't know. They also thought they could hear faint footsteps in the ceiling late at night.
And it wasn't a pigeon.
And it wasn't a crow that could talk to you. Tina remembered finding smudges of tomato sauce and mayonnaise on her bedroom wall one day.
Oh, come on, Daniel.
Yes.
Filthy.
And then she found messages written in the mayo and tomato sauce that said, "Marry me." But then one said, "I'm in your room. Come find me."
No.
And look, initially she just thought her family were pranking her until December 8, 1986.
How'd you let that slide? Sorry.
Well, I don't know. Maybe she thought it was her sister just playing tricks on her, or I don't know.
I'd have to approach. I'd have to be getting to the bottom of that.
I know, but I'm in your room. Come find me.
Oh,
like,
no.
fuck. That is just scary. But look, December 8, 1986, things hit breaking point. So Tina and her sister Karen got back from a friend's house and discovered the bathroom had been used. I don't know if that means there was a log in the loo.
Right.
It was weird, but more than that, something just didn't feel right. So they told their dad and he searched the house and he heard something above him, like a little creak. So he checked Tina's bedroom. He opened the wardrobe and there was Daniel crouching behind her clothes. And his face was smeared with tomato sauce and mayo.
What is with the ketchup and tomato, whatever,
and the mayo?
What's he, a burger?
Marty sauce and
Burger
mayo.
man.
I don't know. But what's even more fucking scary is he's in that wardrobe with that mayo and Marty sauce on his face. He's got Frank's hatchet and metal wrench in his hands. And he then said very quietly, "Stay where you are," as if he'd been rehearsing saying that.
Oh, my
God. And then
God.
he backed into the wall cavity.
Oh,
yes. Just as his dad went to grab these tools. Tina, meanwhile, is watching all of this, freaks out, opens the window, jumps 2 floors into the snow, sprinted to the neighbor's house screaming. Police arrive and Daniel slips back into all of these fucking tunnels he's built in the walls, right? Now, the police and the family spend days demolishing parts of the interior walls, removing
Wow.
insulation, removing floorboards, trying to find him until they come across his little makeshift nests. And a little bit like Mauricio, he's got a sleeping bag, he's got a radio, he's got snacks. There were all of these paths leading from kitchen through the laundry room into the walls. They find all these hidey holes.
Surely that's going to make the house just unsafe. It's going to be on
You would think
shaky
so.
foundations.
I know. And each space was barely big enough to fit a crouching teenager. And it turns out he'd been living inside that house for nearly 2 months.
Oh my God.
So he was arrested on December 10 and he was held in juvenile detention on burglary and weapons charges. Then Daniel's mother posted bail, $10,000 to get him out. She cashed out the
Wow.
equity in their house. And Daniel was released later that year. So October 1987, he was 17. So he'd been in juvenile detention for quite a long time, nearly a year.
Right.
That was in December 86. He got out on bail October 87. Thing is, I wish I could say that was the end of the story, Geordie. It is not. Daniel did not learn any kind of lesson from being a creep in the walls. But this story goes dark. So trigger warning. On December 1, 1987, just a few weeks later, like I said, trigger, Daniel broke into the home of a pregnant nursery school teacher called Priscilla Gustafson.
Oh my God.
She was 33, 8 months pregnant, lived in that house with her 2 children, Abigail, who was 7, and William, who was 5. Daniel forced Priscilla into the bedroom where he sexually assaulted her and then shot her twice at close range.
No.
He then drowned the children,
Oh God.
Abigail in the bathtub and then William in a separate bathtub. And I am sorry for that horror show. Police tracked down the DNA and footprints, and on December 3, he was found in another town called Ayr, crouched under a truck behind a van, wearing a heavy black coat and carrying a .38 revolver in one hand and gloves in the other. According to court transcripts, he told officers, "I don't remember much. I didn't think I was killing them. I heard voices." But psychiatric reports later concluded there was no evidence of a psychotic break, just calculated violence. And in October 1988, he was convicted of 3 counts of first-degree murder and was sentenced to 3 consecutive life terms with parole eligibility only after 45 years. And that came down to the fact that he was 17. Now, appeals in 1990 and 1996 were denied, and a parole bid in 2017 under revised juvenile sentencing rules were rejected after counsellors described his lack of remorse as chilling. Daniel Laplante has served his sentence in a Massachusetts state prison since 1987, and reportedly, he tutors other life inmates, lifers, they call them, in reading and philosophy. The parole board took that into consideration, but in 2019, they did describe him as emotionally void of empathy, noting that his community contributions appeared strategic rather than sincere. So he remains in jail and any future parole remains unlikely at this stage.
He's very good at hiding, but thank God they've got his number now, I say.
Yes, and I don't think he's going to be getting out.
I hope not, because I don't think it's going to end well again, and that would be very embarrassing for the authorities, because obviously they had him once.
They had him once and it escalated.
But they weren't to know he was 17.
I mean, effectively 4 people lost their lives because of that unborn
exactly.
child.
Horrific. Well, we're not going to be sleeping tonight, Michelle. I wonder how the listeners will fare.
No, I don't know. But if you hear a creak in the ceiling or in the floorboards,
scream.
You hear sounds.
And run.
Scream.
All of the above.
Scream and run, or call the cops.
Thanks, Michelle, for a really shitty-bitty ride into the depths of hell. No?
Sorry. So look, maybe we just got to let people go and calm down before they go to bed.
Yes, I hope you're not listening to this late at night. Your mum, Jen, she listens with the earplugs in at Betty Bye time.
Yes, with the headphones.
She's going to have nightmares.
I know. And even if she falls asleep, it's going to go into her brain subconsciously. So sorry if this scares the shit out of you, Jen. But in the meantime, Geordie, I think there's only 3 things left to say.
Wherever you are.
Whatever you do,
just keep eavesdropping.
Eavesdroppin', 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 eavesdroppin' all day long. Eavesdroppin', this is a song. Drop it like it's hot.
Acast powers the world's best podcasts. Here's a show that we recommend.
Lies, exploitation, and the American dream turned nightmare. This is Big Sugar, a deep dive into the inner workings of the sugar industry. I'm Celeste Headley, and in a new podcast, I'm investigating a true crime story like no other about the men who risked their lives to cut sugarcane. In Big Sugar from iHeartMedia, Imagine Audio, and the teams at Weekday Fun and Novel, I'll unravel a decades-long fight to get justice.
If they were right, then these workers were owed tens of millions of dollars in extra wages.
Listen to Big Sugar wherever you get your podcasts.
Acast helps creators launch, grow, and monetize their podcasts everywhere. Acast.com.